Hello, I'm back. This is Teresa again with Keep in Touch Crafts. This is our second attempt at this live here tonight on September 1st of 2022. I have no idea if this is working okay. I hope it is. I'll go here and look for a few comments and just see if anybody's able to give me a shout out, if it's working or not, or if it's sounding better. I just was doing this and they said it was just really choppy and cutting off, so I'm starting over in hopes that it's working okay. I am not sure here. Okay guys, I'm gonna go just as if it's working all right, and I'm hoping it is. So today we're going to be talking about kind of making a card in an opposite way than we normally do. Normally we do the designer series paper as the layer onto our card base, our colored cardstock, but today I'm going to be trying it with using our actual designer series paper as a base and then putting the cardstock and the images on top of that. It's kind of a nice way to use up some of those 12 by 12 papers that maybe you haven't reached for in your stash or in your paper pack. Some of them seem to be our favorites, and we go and we use those up, and then we might have one or two left in there that we're not sure what to do with. So here's a good way to potentially use up some of those pieces. So we're going to be looks like I see a thumbs up. I'm hoping that's good. So let's go ahead and work on our project here tonight. I'm going to get my camera here ready. I might have to adjust a little bit. Let's see, hopefully that looks all right. Yeah, and that it's not too close. We are going to start with cutting some of this designer series paper. So today for my sample I'm going to be using some of this from the Rustic Harvest suite. Just a beautiful set for fall, and of course I'm gravitating towards anything fallish right now while I can. A lot of people are starting in on their Christmas goodies. I'm kind of starting and dabbling, but I haven't gotten there too much yet, so I just want to go ahead and use up some of my fall stuff while I can. We're going to be using 12 by 12 paper that is two-sided, and you're going to get some ideas here on what you can do if you have some that you want to use for cards. So I'm bringing in a trimmer, and our cutting is going to be super simple and easy tonight. For a card base, you can either cut it 4 inches by 12, or if you want to have your card base at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, if that's the size you want for your finished piece, which is our standard A2 size, you'll want to cut it at 4 1/4 by 12. So either way works. It just depends on what size your other layers will be then based on that. So I'm going to go 4 1/4 by 12 and give that a cut and put the rest aside. And so then I'm going to turn this paper, and on this one we're going to do a scoring it first. I'm going to stretch this arm out. Okay, then so let's bring it to 5 1/2 inches and give it a score, not a cut. So nice easy score here. Designer series paper is easy to cut through if you do it too hard, so kind of nice light pressure on that. And now what we're going to do is just go 1 inch in from the end here and do another score at this other side. So there's a 1 inch score, and this one was a 5 1/2 inch score. And so that is going to be the base of our card. So then go ahead and fold it like you normally would. You know what I did? I think I already messed it up. Wouldn't that be something? So this is my orientation. Yeah, so I wanted it to go. See, I messed it up, you guys. I'm going to show you the real way to do it. Wow. All right, try again. Let's go 4 1/4 by 12. I should have planned ahead a little better. This will hold it, or hopefully mean that I will make the mistakes and you don't have to then, right? So what I want to do is, how do I want it oriented? I want this to be the front, and so I want this to be the right edge. So I'm going to go ahead and score 1 inch in on this side that is the front. So this will be the front of my card, and this will be a score at 1 inch. And then pull it through. I just should have had it the other way. And now do it at 5.5 like we did before, I think. Yeah, let's see here. 'Cause I want it to be roughly about there. Just I'm afraid I've done about 20 of these, and now I'm all worried that I'm not doing it right. Yes, 5.5 inches, then score there really lightly. So you're scoring at 5.5, and then it's actually at 11 here, or you can just go 1 inch in from that end. Does that make sense, or am I making it harder? Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so let's go ahead and burnish on the fold marks. Here is our 5.5 inch score. And so I'm going to grab my bone folder and give that a nice crisp edge here. Then for this extra little 1 inch piece, we're going to fold it back this way. Okay, so that is peeking out on our front. And this is going to be the front panel of our card then. And what we're going to do is go ahead and glue this down. You can use seal, any glue will work good on this. So, also the liquid adhesive works as well. So just go ahead, fold that over. Then this is our card front. So you'll be able to do something like this for lots of different types of cards. And now you kind of have to rethink it though, like how can I make this so it's not too busy? We're going to be using regular cardstock to break up that big pattern and make it a little bit less out there, right? So one thing I'm going to do is embellish, and we're going to do a front panel, and then I'll do another panel for the inside. What I'm going to be using today is, first of all, I'm going to be using the stamp set and different things from the suite called the Rustic Harvest suite. It's a really large, big suite of products, but you can just use what you have at home as well. I'm going to use some of these elements here, and those are called the Leaf Label and Amber Gem Combo Pack. I am going to use this stamp set called the Hello Harvest stamp set, and the paper that I'm showing you tonight here is from this Rustic Harvest 12 by 12 Designer Series paper pack. And this shows you a little better picture of the actual images in the stamp set, and it's got a beautiful set of dies. I'm also going to be using a die set that we have that is just one of those that is kind of a staple that you can use in many, many different ways. So this die set is called Fabulous Frames Dies. You've probably seen me use this before. It comes with a bunch of several frame pieces, a little sentiment piece, a little wavy piece that you can do that is like a decorative edge, and then there's also these corners that you can cut out, or that will cut out and have like a little design on them, and that is for on the corner of your images, kind of like a photo corner used to be for scrapbooks and that kind of thing. So these die sets also have a lot of detail that gets pressed into the paper. It's not just cutting them out. You'll be able to do this technique with anything that you have. If you have some nesting dies and you're able to make them be, wow, this is choppy, isn't it? If you're able to get them to cut out a frame, that will work just fine. Now, a frame is not the only way to decorate these cards. This is just one way that I am suggesting and showing you tonight. There's any number of ways that you can do this. So you can kind of get the idea. This is going to go onto the front here. And I did a bunch of that already, where I did some die cutting, and I've kind of planned a color palette. So I'll show you some of those things. I am using just our regular Memento Tuxedo black ink. And then my colors for this project, I don't know if I'll use them all, but this is kind of my fall palette for this project. And it's also the same colors that are on that, or in the paper pack that we were using. You can kind of see a lot of those colors here that will just be repeating onto our design. So I kind of did a bunch of these ahead of time. I cut out some of these frames, and what happens is this die also then cuts out the center. And so here's your frame and the center. I love the size of the center one to go on the inside of the card. So, or you could even use it on the front of the card too, whatever, but just save those cut out inner pieces for the other portions of our card. So I also just kind of cut out just a few different colors, and they're also going to be used, you can layer with them and that kind of thing, and which I would suggest. So I'm going to be doing one here. I'm going to use the green, the Mossy Meadow green. You could use Old Olive, anything that matches, but we're going to be using the frame piece like that. And then that's from this die, the same set. And then on the inside of our card, I'm just going to use both of these two and layer it like that. And I'll come to the inside in a moment. But one thing you want to keep in mind is paper is not as thick as the cardstock, so it's not going to have as much body to it. So what I would suggest is maybe if you can get something that'll add a little bit more sturdiness, you can do that with your cardstock pieces that you'll layer on here. So before we put this on, I've decided to go ahead and glue about 3 of them together. And that is going to make a nice, solid, strong frame. The color isn't going to matter. You can use any scraps or anything, but we'll be building up that frame. So I'm going to bring in my liquid adhesive, and we'll kind of make that a triple decker, but you'll mainly only see the top layer. So I am putting just a little thin amount on this frame. And this is just the basic white piece on this one. And they're the exact same piece because they're cut from this die, of course. So they will just go right together because they're exactly the same. And the liquid glue lets you kind of wiggle it around a little bit to get it exactly where you want it before it, grabs hold for good. So kind of just give that a nice press, get it into place. Kind of, grab it and make sure it's where you want it to be. And then I'm going to glue this then, the green on top of that. You could use the black, you could use, more or less. You don't even have to do this either. But it's just nice to add a little bit more body to that card front. Okay, this is just our regular liquid glue, but I have it in a little nozzly type of a bottle because then it's a real fine line on there and I have less risk of oozing out like you've seen me do 5 bazillion times, 500 times. And so there is this frame piece, and that'll give it a nice sturdy frame for the front of our card. Okay. Just making sure it's all where I want it to be. Before I put this into place, I'm going to get a little decorative piece here. Right now we have washi tape in our mini catalog, and it's kind of almost Halloween-y. Is that a word? Halloween-y. It's a Halloween-y one. Hi, Sam. Welcome. Anyways, this Halloween, it's kind of what it was for, but it's also a lot of nice fall colors. The black would go with it, the green would go with it, and also the kind of the rustish color one here, which is Cajun Craze. So I'm going to use that, and before I put this on, I'm going to layer this on the right along the edge of this designer series paper where it's folded back, and it's adhesive already on the back of the tape, and I just want it to go right over that edge just to give it a little bit of a decorative edge on there. And then just trim that down with your snips here. And that just kind of adds a little decorative edge. Then we're going to go ahead and adhere the frame onto the front. All right. And if you watch this on the replay too, I'd love it if you would comment and let me know you stopped by, and you know, share with your friends. Sharing is caring, as I say. So it's on YouTube and Facebook Live at the moment. So welcome. All right. There is that frame right into place. So it's kind of a different look to it. It showcases a little bit of the colors here from that fall paper, but leaves this part kind of more neutral. Now you could do anything you want as far as, you could do coloring on here. You can leave it like it is. What I prefer to do is I kind of like to soften the starkness of the white with a little bit of blending of ink. So I'm just going to use probably pumpkin pie, so it's like an orangish color. I'm going to really go light on this though. So I am going to get a little bit on my blending brush here, and before I go on to my project, I'm wiping a little bit of it off, and I'm just going to do the edge. Just a little bit around the edges. It doesn't have to all be even or perfect or anything. Just kind of adding a little color into the white. Okay, like so. And then I can decide, do I want to do that on the inside as well? Very well could, if you want to tone down that brightness a little bit. And you're not really even going to be able to see it that much, but that's good. We're just kind of making everything come together a little more. And I don't mind if the edges are a little darker. All right, so here is that finished up. We need to do some stamping and coloring and all that good stuff. What I'm going to do with this is make it a birthday card. And what you can do is, I am finding my sentiments. So I decided to make it a birthday card. I'm using this Happy Birthday, and this is from the set that has all just basic. I'm looking for my case. Here it is. It is from Go To Greetings, and this just has just a note, thank you, thinking of you, and happy birthday in like 3 different scripts and sizes. So it's a really, really handy set to have. You can do a lot with this. So if you want to make a birthday one, you can do that. And on the inside, I am going to choose the sentiment, wishing you the loveliest day. And that comes from this Hello Harvest piece there. So what we're going to do is the happy birthday. I already stamped it because I'm lazy like that. Woo. Voila. And I'm also going to go ahead and kind of give this a little bit of that ink to help it tie it in just a little. And then what I'm going to do on the inside is I am going to use the center of one of the white frames, and I'm going to use the darker green that came from the front here, and I'm going to layer that up and about like so, because we kind of want to break up some of the overwhelming pattern here on the inside, so that doesn't get to be too much. So I'll break it up kind of like that. You could use any color combination, of course. You could use the black or whichever colors you choose, but I'm going to use these, and so I'm going to put this on here. Before I do that, I want to stamp my sentiment, and that is going to be this large wishing you the loveliest day that I showed you from the rustic or the Hello Harvest stamp set. And this is going to be going on the inside of our card, as I just was showing you. So I'm going to ink this one up, and we're going to give this a press onto our card front. I got to stand up so I can see. All right, yeehaw. Then you can do any other stamping you might want to do. One of the images in this I absolutely love is this oak leaf. I know I've used it before, and it just is such a pretty image. I don't know, I just really like how it looks on a card. So let's go ahead and do a little bit with that for some decoration here. We can use any of our colors. Let's go on the inside. We could do, whoops. This is that same pumpkin pie color. We could do a little bit of that here. In the corner. And then I think I'm also going to, I'll do what I did last time, I guess, cheat and you do the same technique again, where you don't re-ink it or anything and just go ahead and turn it sideways, and then it looks like you've used like 3 different ink colors when there's only one. And we could also choose to do a little more with a different color. We could, let's see, let's try this one then. This is the Mango Melody, which is that kind of a deeper, bright yellow. Boy, I didn't clean off my, I didn't clean off this, so it did end up looking about the same color. That's okay. And I'm stamping a little bit on that sentiment too, as you can see. All right, so this is the inside, and this is the front. And we will be trimming this stuff down and getting it, you know, more ready for our project. Then, let's see here. What I want to do is have a focal point image. So I stamped this actual pumpkin guy, okay, onto some paper in that paper pack. It's really hard to see, but we'll kind of make this pop out more. You could also do it on the same paper that you used on your card front, and then that would kind of make it look like it'd be a cool effect as well. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and color these pumpkins. That were one of them I'll put on the front, but I had 2 of them just in case, because I have to be ready if I mess up, right? So we'll only color one of them in hopes that I only need the one. And then just decide on the color palette what colors you want to tie into the front of your card. And we'll make this kind of swirled on. So I know I want some of this. And I'll use all these different colors that we have in our designer series paper and continue that into shading up and coloring our pumpkin. So what I like to do is get the lightest color for kind of the center of it. So we'll use which one is this here? Let me check. Mango Melody. And I'm going to get my blending brush that's meant for more of the yellows. Okay, come on. There we go. And we're going to kind of go off of it first. Remember, real light, because this is going to layer really well. I want this center part where I'm at on the pumpkin to be the lightest part. And then we'll get darker as we go out. All right, next color, let's grab it's our more orangish color, and that's pumpkin pie as it's called. And again, I'm going off first, and I'm going to hit a little bit higher up, but this is going to be cut out, so it doesn't matter. You don't have to stay in the lines. All right, getting it a little bit darker. And then I'm going to get it. The next color is going to be that Cajun Craze, and that is going to be just the outside edge of the actual pumpkin. And this is really a dark color, so you don't want it to overpower everything. Just a little bit on the edges. And you can see it's just really putting a lot of different colors onto this pumpkin and really making it pop out nice. Ooh, it's jumping around on me. Okay, making sure it's all blending. And here's kind of what this image looks like now. We're going to be cutting that out. And boy, I think that's, maybe I could use a little bit of inking on this inside. I'll see how my brush is. I'm just going to use the same blending brush. I'm just trying not to get anything from my fingers onto this layer. And make the starkness kind of go down a little bit. And our focal point, we want to kind of be that little bit of wishing you the loveliest day. That'll be kind of course, what we want to draw the eye to there. All right. So, if we want to do anything else, I think we're okay. We could, like color in the banner more or whatever, but we're gonna go with good enough. Let's get our paper snips. I don't have my good ones. Did someone come in my house and steal my paper snips is what I'm wondering. I can't find them. I'm so bummed. So I have this other brand and it'll work, but we're just gonna what they call fussy cut out this pumpkin. And why not use the die? Because I don't have them. And I'm so bummed because the die set that goes along with this is gorgeous. I am not doing it justice by not, with not getting the dies. I just hadn't got them yet, and I thought I had. Then I went to use this set because I really like it, and then I'm looking and I never did get the dies. So I would suggest if you have that, of course, use those to cut out your image, and it's so beautiful. The one that comes with this puts some texture and everything onto the pumpkin and some grooves into it. It's just so pretty. But so if you have that, I would suggest using that. But this kind of a card you can make obviously with about whatever you have at home and whatever your theme is. So there is our pumpkin all fussy cut out, and sometimes I like to kind of ink this edge if you're afraid that edge is going to kind of show whiteness. Depends on what kind of paper you used and that kind of thing, but just give that a little bit more ink so that there isn't any white showing through. So that's going to go be our kind of our focal point on the card. Then we're going to go ahead, and this will be on there as well. And I don't need it that long, of course, so I'm going to trim to about there. And I know I'm cutting off some of our lovely leaf, but that's okay. And you could choose to just leave it like this, or you could layer it. You can punch the ends. What I've been doing is using this punch. I like this. It's called Banner's Pick-a-Punch, and it either makes kind of a banner with the point going outward, or kind of that inward banner, which is probably the one we use the most. So can look on the back, and it has a little tray for 3 different sizes. I believe it's 1/2, 3/4, and 1 inch little guides there, and that'll guide in your piece. And you can see right where it's going to punch, which is super handy. I don't know if you can see that very well. You can kind of see I have it in there, and I know right where it's going to punch it. And we'll do the same with the other end here. And we have our beautiful banner. Happy birthday. I am going to put this on the card front, and I'm also going to use dimensionals for both of these elements. And I need my tool. Take your pick tool. Where did it go? Oh, I don't know what I did with it. I never can find it for my lives because I always use it and then don't put it back. I'm very naughty. Okay, before I put this on, I forgot I do want to give this stem a little brown. I'm using a blend marker. You can use whatever you have. Just adding in a little bit of brown there. And I'm even going to kind of feather that down a little bit onto these shade lines. Just a little to add a little more color. Just a teeny bit. Okay. Let's go ahead and finish putting this together. Dimensionals, check. These are going to also be what adheres it on to the card. And they have a little liner here that you pick off. Oh gosh, look at that. I'm looking at my at the display there on the screen, and that looked bad. Big old blobs of ink. Yikes. Someday I'll be neat and tidy. Is that any better? Oh gosh. All right. I was just gonna put this guy on, wasn't I? And our banner. So I forgot to put the dimensionals on the back of that one. Okay, there's that ready to go. I'm going to try to put it in the center approximately. So I have to tip it up so I can see it better. There we go. Press it down and it's going to stay there. That's our front. And then on the inside, this is like, oh, too much, right? So that's why we have our other things that we're putting on there, that other panel that we've made. And I'll get the ink out of the way and find that panel again. And that was the one that said, wishing you the loveliest day. And I'm also going to use, remember that green layer? Like this. You could use any color, but I'm going to have just a little portion of it showing over the edge here. And that matches this frame from the front. And this is the inside piece that it cuts out. Both of these are from our frame. So let's go ahead and adhere this one on there. And you can make it as small or large as you want for this little layer showing out in the corner. And this is the Seal Plus adhesive. Just whatever your favorite is will work for this. Just make sure it's strong enough to you'll be able to hold a couple layers. And let's see, is it looking straight? Okay, now I just need a little bit more bling, although this strip here is plenty of, you know, shimmer, but, you know, not for me. For most people it might be. And I'm going to go ahead and use some of these from that pack that I had told you that we're using. The leaf label, and they're the amber gems. That's what those are called. Take your pick tool, was right in front of me. So I am going to use one of the smaller here, another smaller here, and then I'm going to use one of the larger ones just in this corner here, like so. Okay. Alrighty, the inside pretty much done. I need to figure out a way to cover up. I might do another stamped image here to cover up. There's a little bit of a mark from a stamp edge, but I will be able to hide that. Wishing you the loveliest day. So hopefully this will give you an idea on what you can do with some of those designer series paper sheets that you have. I'm going to show you a few more ideas that I had used. I made a fall card here, and this one was using a paper like so. I really love this paper. I thought that was pretty. But however, this side I wasn't really liking that as well. So then when you carry over the image here, and I cut the frame out of it using that more busy pattern, that's what is on the inside of it. I cut out this using the smaller frame. Then it doesn't have as much of this other layer showing. It just kind of has a little color, and then I don't mind it as much then. I also had die cut out some of these leaves from the what is it? The birch dies. These are from the birch dies set, and it looks like I forgot to put the blingy. Maybe you don't have to use this color. Probably gold would work too, but I have them here, so I thought, why not? Let's just throw a few on so that it's not blingless. Another word I made up. And then I put a bigger one down in this corner here, just to break up some of that pattern then. And another one I did was a baby card with the Forest Friends suite of products, and this one has this kind of wild inside broken up a little bit here. Happier than happy for you. The front just said hello baby. It's a little owl that I fussy cut out of the paper. You can see a kind of a similar idea here. This is just from the paper itself. And then the last one I made is more of a masculine looking card. It says cheers to all your years, and this is from the He's the Man suite. And that, of course, a completely different look here. Just showing a little strip on this side or this end of the paper, and on the inside I just put this little panel, which also actually comes in the paper as well. So this one has a lot of different elements that make it really easy to make up a card. I use the ribbon that we have, that's kind of that early espresso color, and I don't know if you can see the foam on the beer there. It's actually a raised up foam. We have that product now in our newest little catalog, and what you do is it's a liquid that you put on there, use the heat tool, and then it expands and puffs up and dries that way. So it was really fun. I thought that would be nice. A lot of people are using it, of course, for like snow, but it works well for the beer foam as well. So that is this layout. So I'm hoping you have some inspiration you'll be able to use. Here's another version of that same card, so that you can use up some of your designer series paper that maybe you're not too sure what to make of the actual if you're not too sure about what you want to do with some of those patterns that maybe aren't the ones that you reach for the most. So you can use them up that way, show off that designer series paper, use it, and make some beautiful cards. If you have any questions, let me know. I would love to answer those for you. Any feedback, if you want to show me some of your examples of making this card layout, I would love it. There's no end. Keep trying with all of it. I've only used a few of our papers, and I think it'll be nice for things that are retired too. If I don't know what to do with some of them, I can use it up and really show off any of that designer series paper. So thanks for joining me, and we will see you in a week, and keep in touch. Take